All right, here we go. We got the coyote all gassed up. We got turkeys gobbling in the background. A beautiful morning. I'm gonna load up the planter with corn and we're gonna give it a whirl. And that big machine in the background, depending on the sequence of videos, you may already or may not know what that thing is for. So let's go plant some corn. All right, it's been a very slow start so far getting the planter going, but I might as well show you this because the videos I've seen don't show a whole lot on these planters. So I got my corn plate here. This pitch right here is where it's going to be. The corn's going to go down and find its way into the slots. I mean, it won't work if you don't put it on the right way. But there's some nuances. You want to lube all this. This bolt was all rusted, but particularly this little bouncer right here, that's spring loaded. Shoot that full of lube. And then I was a little worried because the first 3 times I mounted this, nothing was moving. That plate was not moving. Well, you got to have it lined up just perfectly because these little tabs here have to ride just right on them tabs until you get it right. So let me see if I could show you by turning the wheel. Oh, looks like we're still rolling. Okay, so it's imperative when I lift this back wheel and turn it that you see it's moving properly. All right, well that was a quick view, but you got the idea there that it's turning, so almost ready to load it up. All right, I'm probably preaching to the choir to a lot of you guys, but this is becoming very frustrating, even getting this thing going. This is why you don't leave moving part implements outside, and if you have to, put a tarp over them. This bolt is rusted shut. I've hit it with penetrator several times. I still can't really get it to tighten down the bin where it tightens down at the bottom there. So I'm going to have to add a few more washers to make that work. And then upon inspection here, you've got this blade. Let me show you here. This blade right here kicks the dirt off of the discs. Well, look at that other one. You see how that's an inch away. That needs to be bent back down in place. But I'm getting closer to having this thing going. All right, so after probably a couple hours, I'm finally ready to roll. The last thing you have to do with these is you have to find the grease zerks. They're all painted over and kind of some rusted over, but like here we got 2 here. And here's the tricky ones. You know, I could not find them on these axles. I'm like, it has to have grease zerks. Well, it's hidden facing downward right in there, and the same thing on this side. It's hidden facing the bottom right up in there. So I have to hit them with grease. I already did that. They were bone dry, most of them. So thank goodness I hit them. Corn coming at you. There, let's get some fresh air. Let's clean you off a little. There's the outside looking in. Time to roll. Yeah, I ran a test plant here I was skeptical, but surprisingly I found one right here, and it was down, boy, 3/4 of an inch or so. I can't believe it, really. So I'm going to raise these wheels up to try and put them blades down just a little bit farther. Man, I think we're going to be in business. Well, once again, without tools, I'd have been stuck. These pins were all painted over and are a bear to even get out because all the paint's coming off. So my basic tool set is coming in handy again. All right, after messing around with the adjustments, right now I'm back to where I started. 2 pins up, it just tore it up too much. The discs were too deep. Then right here I switched, I raised it 1 more pin, and it's kind of so-so. So now I'm back to where I started. You know, they might not be deep enough, but I'm gonna give that a try next here. All right, so one of my discs fell off. There's some kind of keeper in here that is gone. So the thing was riding tilted. So I think the height of that wheel was different than that one. So I mean, I just slide it on and it catches, but I got to try to adjust that out here. To make a hasty field repair on that one cutting disc because it keeps falling off because the pin broke, looks like. But that's why I carry Ninja tape in there. Let's take a look. All right, this is heavy duty. It's not Gorilla tape, but it's a heavy duty for plumbers tape, and it works quite well. So just enough to keep it from sliding off. Let's see if we can keep going now. So the soil is still just a little bit damp, so I'm going through here and knocking off this clay because it's somewhat defeating the purpose of that ridge there. Had to clean just a little bit of grassy weed out, so not quite as no hassle as I had hoped, but let's see how we're going. I've got maybe an 1/8 or a 1/10 of the field down so far. Boom! Beautiful day to have a little fun here. All right, I'm midway through. I'm a little skeptical, but what I'm gonna do is when I throw the urea on today, I'm gonna run a drag over this just to put some covering, because some of those furrows are still open where the corn's kind of just sitting in there. But I do think is if I would have let this sit and die and rot a little more, it would have been almost perfect. But I could thank Mother Nature for that. I mean, it's been a brutal spring. Just rain and rain and rain, so nobody could get in the fields to do anything. So that's why I'm doing it now and not waiting a few more days. We got 80 or 90% chance of rain tonight. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and keep planting. A little rough in this spot from bush hogging. I made a couple ruts. I just wanted to see you pulling it up and how the 3-point hitch is working just fine, the quick attach. So we're looking good so far. Alright, here's a look at my second plot I'm doing in corn. It's up next to the bean field. Made a few modifications there. Put some more duct tape on, sprayed everything with silicone so the dirt doesn't stick quite as bad. So we'll see. I'm really curious how this experiment is going to go. Alright, here's a look at the way I do my corn, at least the way I'm intending to do it. I'm standing up on the deer tower, so I'm going to make a big perimeter here on all the way down that way. And this greens here is going to be a fall greens plot. And then this inside here is going to be probably an alfalfa plot with corn around the entire perimeter. And then this corner back in here, I'm going to just let that grow really into thick, nasty brush. So from here, they're going to be in this protected little pocket. And in addition, this strip here, this whole strip all the way down there, we're letting grow in the wild brush to close this section in. So that's a look at one of the plots. And of course, in keeping with Capper tradition of nothing really goes very easy, when I pulled the bins off, this turnbuckle right there was sitting on there. It is not supposed to be sitting on there. And then of course, that bin that was over there was about full. So in other words, I wasted pretty much the entire day planting with a 1-row planter and not a 2-row. I checked the bins midway through and they looked lower, but it must have happened right after that. So this half bag of corn should only be a smidgen of corn in there, but it was all in one bin. That's what happens when you can't have really new equipment. Stuff like this, it's frustrating. And this ain't even that old, but it's old enough to be a royal pain like this. So, you know, am I going to go replant it? No, I don't know what planted. I don't know what didn't plant. So, just more old machine frustration. Alright, so I'm running the drag now as the last step for 2 reasons. One reason is the no-till didn't work that well. You see all the slots here, they're not covered up. So you got what corn there is, a lot of it's kind of laying in the open. And the second reason is to work in the urea that I just put on, to work it in the soil a little bit so you don't lose it to evaporation. Alright, so here's a look next to my deer tower at my corn creation, if it works. That perimeter is planted. This whole, almost the perimeter, you see the green winter wheat there, that will be a new perimeter this fall of a different fall greens. So then the corn comes all the way and wraps all the way around this field, and even behind the blind here. And there's 2 open pockets. There's an open pocket right here, and then this is a pretty large open pocket right here that I'll plant a fall plot in. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the corn works. And this was the first plot, so I don't think it started missing, because I watched that chain a lot, and I double checked it a lot during this plot, so hopefully I got enough down. If you remember last year, the raccoons devoured this thing, but being that I didn't till it, I'm hoping that because it's not freshly tilled dirt, they don't find it right away and they're not going to get in here and devour it. So that's my hope. Boom! Beautiful day to have a little fun here.